Thank you for tuning in to the Female Guides Requested podcast. I'm your host, Ting Ting. Right now, I'm in Pacific Northwest, and so nice to escape the heat of Las Vegas. Today's guest is Kelly Khiew. Kelly was born and raised in Singapore. She left her so-called regular job due to her insatiable desire for outdoor climbing. She co-founded a guiding service with her husband QX in Taiwan and guides there and other destinations in Southeast Asia. Starting 2018, she has run women's climbing clinics every year to foster a community of strong, independent, and confident female climbers. Kelly is soft-spoken and humble, but it was easy for me to tell that she has a strong will. I caught up with her right after she finished her AMGA Advanced Rock Guide course and Aspirant exam in Red Rock in April. It was interesting to learn why she chose to obtain the guide training and certificates in the States, even though she mostly operates in Asia, and to listen to how she had to adjust her mindset from being in a majority group, that is Han Chinese, to a minority here in the States. Congratulations to Kelly for becoming an AMGA Assistant Rock Guide. She will continue working towards her Rock Guide certification. Now, let's listen to Kelly's stories. Kelly, I actually only know how to pronounce your first name. So can you tell me how to pronounce your last name?
My last name is pronounced as Khiew. It's spelled as Khiew, and it's pronounced the same as the letter Q.
Okay, so Kelly Khiew.
Yes.
It's kind of cute. It reminds me of this actress. I don't know whether you know, like her name is Maggie Q.
Oh, I think her last name is really like the letter Q. Maybe it's just her celebrity name. I'm not too sure it's a real name.
Right.
Yeah.
But then your name is Na.
No, but my sister-in-law is like Maggie, so like she's Maggie Q.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So, well, in case like some listeners don't know about you, can you just give the listener a little brief intro about you and why you're here right now sitting in my office in Las Vegas?
Yes, my name is Kelly. I am originally from Singapore. I'm based in Taiwan since 2015. My husband and we own a small business offering guide services in Taiwan and also in the region in Southeast Asia.
So you also operate in Southern Asia? Or?
In not only Southeast Asia, in Asia in general.
Okay.
Depending on seasons.
You mean Japan, maybe Korea, and then Philippines, or?
Yeah, the opportunity is immense, right? So right now, we are guiding in Taiwan, in Thailand, Malaysia, China, and my husband guided in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are many places that we can go in the region, and that's the opportunity that we are looking forward to, explore and expand.
Wow, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, because I probably would ask you about some detail about the running business there in Asia, because I'm curious. In the States, sometimes it's crazy about insurance and permits and everything, but. So I know this trip you're coming here for your AMGA Advanced Rock Guide course.
Yes.
And first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
For you to become an assistant rock guide. So for you, so since you are not operating in the United States, right? So I won't say it's irrelevant. Certainly it will help you with your skill set. But it's also quite a hassle to travel and train and then go through all these things. And so what made you decide that you want to get an AMGA certification?
I see this as an extension to my climbing and guiding career. Yeah. It's actually a good question because like I started out just like helping my husband with his guide service business.
So your husband started all this
Yes,
things.
like we actually quit our jobs in 2013 to do guiding full time. Yeah, he's the guide and I'm everyone else. I can be like the secretary, I can be the driver, I can be the chef, I can be the assistant guide. I'm everyone else and also the guide.
Yeah, but it's actually a pretty important job. You know, sometimes it's very luxurious if I have an assistant and I just have to focus on one thing, and I just you deal with the rest. So it was your role for a long time.
Yes, but at the same time, I'm also guiding. So like it's guiding plus like also like a lot of other things.
No, maybe I will have to, next time I see your husband QS, I'm just gonna question him. How can you put your wife in such a busy position?
It's actually good training, like thinking on hindsight, because like right now when I have to operate on my own, I realize that I can do a lot of things on my own as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's actually not a bad thing. So so I started out like helping my husband with his guiding, and I think I kind of plunged into this without knowing what I was getting myself into.
Okay.
And the more I was doing it, the more I enjoyed doing it. And I kind of like wanted to do it in my own way to a certain extent. So I started also like my own little women's group.
So your own way in terms of what your husband lay out, or
I mean, like I'm always like the person on the sideline, right? Like assisting him and supporting him. So like a lot of decisions are made by him. Yeah, and I'm just like doing what he instructs me to do. Yeah, so I think at some point of time I want to be more involved, and I also want to have a stronger sense of ownership to what I was doing. So and I think it's also a matter of chance. Back then, I think that was in 2019.
right before COVID, huh?
Yeah, when I started my first women's clinic in Taiwan.
So that basically, like that's not QS idea. It would be all yours, right?
Yeah,
okay.
But he was supportive. He thinks that it's a good idea to start out something like that. Yeah, because there isn't anything that's women focused in our region. And I have a strong feeling towards that. I think partly because when I was in, we call it secondary school, which is like middle school, where we are 13 to 16, I was studying in a girls' school, an all-girls school. Yeah, and I definitely believe in like women's support and in doing things together. Yeah, I think a part of me still has that, and which is why I feel very strongly towards having women-focused activities, just to support one another, and also like to create a space for people to network, right?
Yeah. Definitely. So is this still an ongoing thing, the women's clinic?
It was ongoing through COVID, actually. I think I did a lot more like women's clinics during COVID.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because when I first organized it, it was marketed towards people from overseas. So
like expats in Taiwan.
No, like visitors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like I didn't explain this. So like although we are based in Taiwan, most of our clients are people from Singapore, whether they are locals or expats. Yeah, and because of COVID, we are kind of like stranded in Taiwan, like happily stranded in Taiwan. Yeah, it's not a bad place like to be in like during COVID. Yeah, and that's the time when we realized that, hey, like our clients can't fly to us, so what should we do? And I decided to explore the local market. I just like posted something in the local women's Facebook group, and I was surprised to like receive a lot of responses and interest from people.
So the local means like Taiwanese or people who live in Taiwan, because I know that you and QS mainly target English speaking people.
Yeah, so like that Facebook group is still like the language that is like the language that's used in that Facebook group is still like English. So we get mostly expats, but we also get some like locals who speak English who are also in that group.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, but mostly expats, I would say. Yeah, but at the same time, because of this expat group, we also like it kind of like snowballed to getting into the local market. So we also got in touch with like people. It's quite interesting. Like we got in touch with people who are Taiwanese, but they speak American English. So a lot of times, like they are people who are born in Taiwan, but they've been to, like to the US for their studies. And COVID is actually an interesting time because a lot of them actually come back to Taiwan to like escape COVID in the US. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's a wave of people that we see coming back to Taiwan because of COVID.
Very interesting.
Yes.
As far as I know, and I just heard that you and QS have this niche market, because I'm from Taiwan originally, so obviously I know a lot of Taiwanese who operate in London, which you and QS operate in Taiwan, but they target Mandarin speaking Taiwanese. I don't think they really they will accept guests for sure, but maybe since you and QS from Singapore, so your English is like quite fluent and everything. Yeah,
I think we are better off like delivering in English than in Chinese.
Okay.
And I think it's also good that we draw a distinction from our friends who are locals, because like then we have our different group of target audience. Yeah, and we will also introduce like even like direct like clients to one another. Yeah, so like we're actually like working together instead of like competing with one another.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. So you run the women clinic. Is there something like, there will be several tiers, and then you will have this group of women, maybe they start with some more like beginner skills and then they gradually advance into like more advanced skill? Do you have the progression for them?
That's a good question. Because like I do have that mostly for my clients from overseas, because a lot of clients who come for me for these clinics, they are already climbers. Yeah, so once they have come to like one of the clinics, they would come back to me asking for like something from like they're looking for something more than that, maybe something more advanced to what they already know. But during COVID, the people that came to my clinic, a lot of them are not climbers at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so they're new.
They are totally new. So like the way I introduce climbing to them and market these clinics is actually very different from how I sell it to my clients from overseas who are already climbers.
Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned that you and QS quit your job in 2013. 13. Was the job in Singapore or?
Yes.
So those jobs more like desk job?
Actually, no, I haven't. I've never been in any desk job, to be honest. So like,
okay, then what did you do before?
Yeah, so like I started working in Singapore Changi Airport.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Singapore is pretty famous for its airport. It's like usually like the best or one of the best. And I was there for 2 years. I was on the grounds mostly, like, and seldom at my desk. So part of my job is like to be on the ground, like checking things through, making sure like things are going well. And if there are any things, whether it's like, like, I don't know, anything under the sun, like complaints, flight delays, like any operations that are, not going well, like I will be alerted and I have to be there to settle things.
No, I kind of can understand why QA is just like, why don't you do the rest of the whatever work in the house? Yeah.
Yeah. So like that was like quite an eye-opener for me as like someone who's like fresh from, college. And I was there like for 2 years, and I kind of like I switched over to working in the museum.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere like that. It's more like a setting that's more lighthearted and more pleasant. At least you don't get like angsty passengers who are like usually pretty unhappy with things when things are not going smooth.
Okay, so maybe the museum tourists will be would be more pleasant because they were asking questions, so they are not complaining.
Yeah, they're like in a better mood because they are there to like like take part in activities, like enjoy like the exhibitions. Yeah, but mostly like what I do in the airport and in the museum are very similar. We are all like running operations. Yeah. So I think this jobs actually gave me a very good introduction of like how I deal with people.
Right.
Yeah, and how I do with things that that just pop up all of a sudden. I always have to be on standby and always have to be on my toes, ready for things to happen and ready to deal with things during my shifts.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Then how did even climbing enter this picture? I mean, as far as I know, I've never been to Singapore, but it's a small place.
Small city and small city state. We are like a small city and a small country.
And then
yeah.
how much you climbing there?
There is actually a lot of climbing, but indoor climbing.
Indoor climbing.
Indoor climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the climbing industry is actually pretty big in Singapore for such a small place.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And people are into it. And people are they invest in it.
And then so did you get into climbing from the inside, indoor climbing?
Yes. I actually started climbing when I was 17.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah, when I was in junior college, which is like senior high school. Yeah, so I think I feel very privileged because like back then there were not that many schools that offer climbing as an activity. Like a lot of times climbing will be part of the outdoor adventure club. So like you would do like a bunch of other things like kayaking, hiking, and climbing. But for us, all we did was climbing.
Okay.
We even did like climbing for PE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah,
and
we
you
had,
have that
like-
option.
Yeah, we had like pretty good walls, and the school actually invested in hiring a full-time coach for us.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Really?
yes.
Wow.
So like I was very lucky when I first started climbing. I had a coach with me for my first 2 years of climbing.
Yeah,
I
that
think,
certainly help a lot, right?
Yes,
With
I
the
think so.
movement and training and stuff.
and I think that is a very good foundation for my climbing and how I see climbing.
I see. And then, when did you first time climb outside?
Oh, good question. So the same coach, right? He's been hired to teach us climbing, not just for our own climbing, right? Because like the school would want us to represent the school for competitions. But towards the end of our studies, the coach really wanted us to experience outdoor climbing. Yeah, so before we graduated, he brought us to our first outdoor climb in this place called Batu Cave in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was only for a weekend, but that totally changed my life. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and I
What did
never
you
stopped
do?
climbing after that.
So
I
you-
never stopped outdoor climbing after that.
You just really love that experience.
Yes, it's just amazing, like how like all the things that I've learned or applied on plastic, like in the gym, can be like applied to like climbing outside. It's like amazing. Hey, I know what to do with my body and my legs and hands. Like although I've never climbed on real rocks.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. I think the skills are totally transferable. So I don't understand some people just say, oh, gym climbing is very different than outside climbing. I think they just haven't really connected the dots.
Yeah, I think it may also like vary from people to people, but I really enjoy it. It was amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Then how did this change career into guiding come in? Like, is what any of you was feel like the previous job just like, oh, I don't really want to do this previous job, and it's like anything, I don't know, or you just feel like, oh, maybe we want to try something new?
I think a lot of this, of course, like it's a joint decision, but I think a lot of this goes to the time when I graduated from college. I actually had like a half a year break to do a gap kind of like a
Gap
gap
year.
year. But it's not like a year, right? But it's only for 6 months, like in Europe. So I did like
But still, the concept is the same. Yeah.
Yeah, like I did like a 6 months gap year in Europe, like doing like a rock trip in Europe.
Nice. Where did you visit?
I was mostly in southern France.
Nice.
Yes, so I was in southern France most of my stay. I went to Switzerland, went to Spain, and it's just a time for me to explore climbing outside of my region, outside of my comfort zone. And also, I think a very important thing about the trip was that I got to see a lot of people who are not only climbers, but also like people who are trying to earn a living for themselves through climbing. Yeah. And that kind of like changed my perspective towards like how I could lead my life in the future. That didn't happen right away because I still went back to a regular job. After college, I still needed to like pay off my student loan and things like that. We have to be realistic about that. But it was at a moment in my life when I realized that, hey, like 18 days in a year just to go outdoor climbing is not enough.
Right.
Yeah, because like the difficult thing about Singapore is like we have an outdoor crack. But
you do?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, but unfortunately it's closed temporarily for the past 2 years, unfortunately. But the good thing about Singapore is like because we are so small, it's easy to get out of the country to climb in a different place. For instance, it just takes us 1.5 hours flight to go to like Thailand, to a nice beach, to Krabi, to go climbing.
True. And see, if I have to go Joshua's family, drive 3.5 hours from Vegas.
Yeah,
Yes.
but still, like, we still have to, like, go through immigration, like, get out of the country. It's still a lot of hassle and money, time involved. Yeah. So, and once you start working, like, you need to apply for leave to go on an extended holiday. And I feel that climbing as a holiday for me is just not sustainable for me.
Okay. You want more?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I just feel really upset at the thought that, hey, I have 365 days in a year. Why am I only spending like 20 days in a year doing what I love? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that went on like in my first few years of work. And that year, I still remember very vividly, that year, like I was already dating QX and I was like crying in bed. Like I was just not happy. Like I was like happy with him, but I'm just like just thinking of spending the rest of my life doing this and just spending like 20 days out of the 365 days doing climbing, like which is like what I really want to do. It's just not very inspiring. Yeah.
When you met him, he was already a climber too?
He was already a climber. We actually met through a common friend who's also a climber.
Okay.
Yeah, so we started out climbing on our own before we met.
Right. And then so this kind of like a join. Well, you probably talk with QS a lot and then figure out that maybe you should try this.
No, actually like that was how I felt. And I didn't understand why I was feeling that way, but he probably had some ideas about doing this full-time because like while he was having a full-time job, he was also like running weekend trips teaching trad climbing in Malaysia.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that happened like towards the end of our full-time career before we decided that, hey, like this is actually feasible and maybe we can explore doing this full-time.
I see.
Yeah.
But then why did you choose to go to Taiwan then if he already teaching in Malaysia? So you are also not very far from Thailand. So you have quite a few locations that you can choose, right? Thailand, Malaysia, even maybe Hong Kong, right?
We did run trips to Hong Kong too. It's a good question. Like, I think it's all about chance. Yeah, like we know of climbing in Taiwan for a long while. I remember like QX has that guidebook for Longdong for a long time. And that year when we decided to go to Taiwan was when my brother and sister-in-law actually got engaged, because my sister-in-law is Taiwanese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we finally made our way there and went to Longdong and loved it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's how I started I started doing more track climbing. Yeah, I started doing it in Malaysia, but the spot in Malaysia is still like a little crack, but at least we can still do some track climbing. Yeah, but when we went to Taiwan, it's like, whoa, this is unbelievable, because like for people who don't know about track climbing in the region, like there isn't that much actually. Yeah, track climbing is like unheard of basically. It's
You mean in that region? You mean Southeast Asia?
Southeast Asia. Like I think in Taiwan it's more common. You tend to see like people with their own track gear, but in Southeast Asia, like people are mostly sport climbers. Yeah, and we see a potential in that. Like, you know, like track climbing is something that is new to the area, and we wanted to introduce that to the climbing community. Yeah, and we thought that Taiwan is a very suitable place to do that.
And in order to, I don't really know about the legal thing, so in order to stay in Taiwan long term and work in Taiwan, you have to go through some, I don't know, application or some,
For sure. Like we did register a business in Taiwan to make it official. Yeah, so initially like we were not very sure with things, so we just like ran little trips, and we didn't know like how the outcome would be like. So like when we finally decided to settle down in Taiwan, like we definitely have to like get things like more formal.
Right, like more like legally.
Yes.
So you round trip in a lot international. So how does that work? Maybe it's like the regulation is a little bit less defined. Maybe you just take people to Thailand, but then in Thailand they don't really care that whether you are a guided group or not a guided group, something like that.
It's true.
Okay.
I think like generally in Southeast Asia, I'm not too sure about Japan or Korea, but in Southeast Asia it's still pretty much unregulated, which means that people don't have a very good concept of guides and guiding.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people still see guides as people or like belay monkeys who, you know, just like put up the rope and do belaying all day, which is also a huge part of my work, to be honest.
True.
But
yeah,
not
we
just
do
that.
certainly belay a lot.
Yes. So this is something that we are trying to change as well. We do have clients who have been traveling quite a bit, and they've hired guides elsewhere, and they know the value of having guides with them on trips, but we are trying to push that a little bit more to like people in general, like just to educate people like what guides do, and just to like build the guiding industry a little bit more in the region. Yeah, the climbing industry is like booming, but the guiding industry is not like catching up, and that is something that that requires a lot of work.
Was that one of the reasons that both QS and you came to United States, or you are coming to United States for taking courses and all this AMGA thing?
Yeah, this is definitely like the reason why. Basically, like what I mentioned, right? So the guiding industry is like almost non-existent in the region, and there's definitely like no professional training for guides. Yeah, we were looking for options, and yeah, the AMGA like is definitely like the top option for us to receive professional training if we are doing this, and we are doing this. Yeah, I see this as my PhD.
Okay.
Yeah, and I actually have never taken any professional training. I mean, like in Singapore, we have our local federation for instructors. I've never even like gone through like training with them. I just went directly to the AMGA. Yeah, and it just happened that like I wasn't in Singapore to do all this training. So like it totally makes sense for me to, come to the States to do the training with the AMGA.
And how's your experience with the AMGA courses and so far?
The training is great. It actually exposes me to how things are so different in the US as compared to Asia. Because like in like from where I come from, I am Chinese by race. I'm always like in the majority group. When yes, whether it's Singapore or in Taiwan.
Right.
Yeah, but when I'm in the US, I'm usually, if not always, the only Asian in my course.
True.
Yeah. Even like for my ARGC, I'm still the only Asian in the course. But at the same time, I'm really fortunate to have like 4 other ladies in my ARGC, which I heard is really rare.
It is, yes.
Yeah, like super fortunate. Like I'm not the only woman, BIPOC. I'm still the only BIPOC, but like I'm glad to have like support from like other women in the same course, and I think that plays a big role in how people like behave or even like perform in these courses and exams.
So you took Aspirant, the SPI, right? And so single pitch instructor course, and then the rock guide course, and the advanced rock guide course. So obviously this advanced rock guide course and exam, aspirant exam. So you mentioned that, well, you have 4 women, so it's the regular course. It's not affinity course. And have you ever taken any like affinity courses?
Yes, actually my first affinity course was last year.
Oh.
Yeah, with you.
Oh, is that
actually like no, not the exam, but like like the mentorship clinic that you offer.
Okay.
Like that's
Yes.
the first affinity course that I actually took part in. Yeah, and I see like the value in it, because like there isn't anything like this like from like where I come from, but I do see the value of having like support from people who are similar to you, like in this context where like we are minorities. Yes, like yeah, I'm definitely like an outlier like in terms of this, because like I'm a woman, I'm BIPOC, I'm a non-US resident. Yeah, so like I'm definitely like I always feel like an outlier like among like my classmates.
Yeah, I mean, you have the courage. I mean, courageous to come here and then feeling, even though you are one of the minority member in this team, but still perform. So I'm pretty happy for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, and that kind of made me wonder. So you're talking about the mentorship day, and I know that one of your classmates, Tally, and then actually I know all of them, I think. Amber, Samantha,
Yes.
so those are the 4 women.
And also another lady, Emily.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you mentioned that.
So
So there are 5.
5 of us,
Yeah,
yes,
so
yes.
that's a lot of them.
Yes, almost like half of the class.
So I went out a day with you, and then you also went out with some other people. So how do you find all these mentorship opportunities, and then how does that help you with this?
It's quite funny. Like it's just like through forums. So like
You mean the Facebook group?
groups. Yeah. So the one with Lindsay was through like the Facebook group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she volunteered her time.
Yeah,
that was really nice of her.
Yeah, she was actually here like for quite an extended period of time and offering like mentorship to like different groups of people. Yeah, I think it's just but I'm pretty new to like mentorships. Yeah, so like the first one that I've ever taken was with you last year. Yeah, and I think that this is something that is very much needed.
The mentorship
Mentorship
yes.
like opportunities, and I feel super lucky that Lindsay was offering it during my stay, because like for my trip this time, I'm only staying here for a month. Like it's actually not that long as compared to my past trips. It's usually like 2 to 3 months. Yeah, so like like each time I come here, I definitely want to like maximize all these opportunities that I can have during my stay here, because like it's a long way to be here. It's also, it takes me a lot of like time and effort to be away from home, away from work to be here. So each time when I come to the US, I make sure that I will make the best of my stay here in all aspects. Whether it's training or whether it's climbing or like meeting people, like networking. Yeah, that's just making the best out of my stay here.
Yeah. And then can you describe like how typically like all this mentorship day kind of go?
It really depends. So like for this mentorship sessions that I have recently, it's more targeted because like the bunch of us, the ladies, like for ARGC, the Advanced Rock Guide course, we are here for the course.
Right.
So like it's very targeted to what we are going to do for the course. So we are actually doing practices to prepare ourselves for the course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's also a good opportunity for us to meet before the course, so like, we already know one another.
Right.
Yeah, I think like part of, I thought it's just me like entering all these like courses as like a female, like a non-local, BIPOC,
Right.
but it seems like a lot of my other classmates who are Americans, but they're ladies, so maybe like we have a similar perspective towards this, like coming as a minority, that we still have some anxiety.
Okay.
Like, you know, like before we before the course starts, like having a lot of things in our heads, like, hey, like who are our classmates going to be, like how is it going to turn out, and things like that. So I don't know whether like people have that thoughts as much, but it seems like it's quite across the board among like ladies. I'm not too sure whether it happens to like men.
I would think so. I mean, according to my personal experience, I remember I was the only Asian, and well, I don't actually. One, of course, I have this. That's a rock guy exam. I have this person from Thailand, so I was not the only Asian, but I definitely was the only woman for both my advanced rock guy course, Aspirant exam, and the rock guy exam. But I remember I just like, oh, I'm the only woman, including also the instructor, though, are all male instructors. Yeah. And then I remember I was really nervous for the ARGC, but then I noticed that the male participants, they are just nervous too.
Oh, really?
They're nervous,
Okay.
but I think the thing about at least it's what I observe is women, if somehow they have another woman, they would tend to share this thought a whole lot. And then maybe, you know, bound by the society expectation, the guys would pretend that it doesn't affect them. Because it probably shows like a sign of weakness. Yeah. And then, but when female shows, it seems like it's normal. We don't consider it as weakness. We just consider that we want to express our thoughts or feelings, and then we are seeking support. Yeah. So it's kind of nice that you have all these women they can members you can meet up with and share the similar thoughts. So even just sharing that being nervous and being, you know, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I think like just having a space to express that and realize that, hey, like it's not just me, it's also like you are also feeling that too. I think it's comforting to know that, you know, like it's normal to feel nervous or anxious like during like taking this course and exam, and to provide support for one another, because like ultimately we are taking this course not as competitors, you know, we are here to support one another to succeed together.
For sure. Yeah. And how about like all this mentorship day? So you went out, say for example, with Lindsay or with me or with some other participants in the same course to do like a multi-pitch day. What do you find like the most beneficial experience? Like, is that just climb more and then get familiar with the area, or like particular advice that you get passed down to, or stuff like that?
I think a lot of things that I learned from all these mentorship sessions are things that I didn't learn from my regular courses.
Right.
Yeah.
Such as?
Things like short roping is definitely my greatest weakness.
Okay.
Yeah, we do get practice, some practice like during the courses, but like it's not this extensive.
I see.
Yeah. So, and I think what I really value is whether it's you or Lindsay, like you have the experience of going through the exams and also like the course. So like a lot of times y'all will share like your experience with us and also like the difficulties and challenges that y'all met and how to overcome them. Yeah, so I think that's invaluable. Yeah, and that is something that I really appreciate because like this is something that we wouldn't be able to get from just like taking courses. We definitely need someone who has been through that and also like give us the space to practice, the space and time to practice all the skills with guidance. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I guess that is true because I was wondering, like, during the course, they definitely teach you, like, technical skills. But maybe you don't really have a big chunk of time to practice.
I mean, like, even, like, for instance, if I take short roping, for example, like, yes, we do practice short roping, but we usually do it in, like, some, like, terrains where, like, we can just walk around. But when we are having...
So it's not like as real?
Yes. So like when we are doing like all this mentorship like sessions with y'all, like we are doing it on the climb itself, which makes like things more consequential and more realistic. I think that's a huge benefit. And that's something that I cannot blame that we can't do it in the course because like, you know, with such a big group, it's really... The consequences are high.
Definitely. And then you probably can't really squeeze that much in. It would take a pretty long. It's very hard to find a very good short roping practice playground. So, and then also with, just like you said, with a huge group, it will be a little bit challenging. Definitely. So kind of like a more like real experience and real terrain.
Yeah, and I think with guidance, because like I can do this like all I want with like mock clients, but I don't have, like someone like beside me to tell me, hey Kelly, like you maybe like you want to try doing this way and it'll be better. Yeah, so I can be doing this like with my friends or like with my mock clients,
but they're not gonna give you the same feedback.
Yes.
They're just
exactly.
like, oh yeah, we feel fine.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe like we should go on road because like they're usually climbers and you know like and they wouldn't be able to tell me the feedback that I need.
Okay.
You know, as a like how I do things as a guide as compared to a recreational climber.
I see.
Yes.
And are you still gonna continue on your track to say take the next level eventually, like rock guide?
I think at this stage the answer is like a straight yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Before I took the ARGC, I was actually in a dilemma whether what track I should pursue. So I was still thinking about it. Then I was like, hey, I got the scholarship for ARGC. I think like.
Okay.
That's the decision.
That's
yes. Yeah, so I think a lot of times like maybe it's just my character or like it's just like my destiny. Like a lot of things just when I feel a little lost or not knowing what I should do, like things just pop up along the way to show me the directions. Yeah.
Nice.
And so far it has been great.
Nice. I mean, you seem like a pretty optimistic and positive person. Did you now get what you want and you climb a lot more than you wanted to? Or because of work, you actually doesn't climb as much as you want?
I mean, like, I climb a lot, but like it's mainly for work, right? And you will know the difference. Yeah, so I actually climb less for myself. A lot of my climbing that I do now...
But it's not at least like, it's more than 20 days a year outside, right?
For sure, yes. So like I'm still like... pretty happy with that. Yes, it's not just 20 days in a year.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, so I feel really fortunate like with like what I'm doing right now. I'm pretty happy like where I am right now. There are definitely times when I have my anxiety about like, hey, like I have peers who are already like managers or like people in their like people like who are like pretty high up in their career.
Okay.
Yeah, as compared to like for guys, we don't have that kind of track, so it's very difficult to I don't know, to define like whether we like how successful we are, I guess. I don't know.
Right, it's not like this annual income
Yes.
or prestigious like
Yes.
social position.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So there are times I do feel a little like anxious, especially like whenever I go back home and I look like, hey, my friend seems to be like doing great. Like,
Yeah, maybe they actually envy you. Just like, wow, Kelly is like having this adventure, like crazy fun life. Right?
I think it's the same for everyone. Like people just can't be satisfied.
Right?
Yeah. I think like everyone will have their own struggles, and like it's just a matter of what you value in life, right? You know, like people may value like comfort and security, and I value something else. But as long as you're happy doing what you are doing, I think that's what matters the most.
And then right now you're pretty happy with what you're doing.
I'm actually pretty happy.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am. I think I am. Yeah. Yes.
And then what do you like about guiding them?
I think it's just maybe it's my character. Like I enjoy interacting with people. And
yeah, I think that's a very important thing.
yeah. I mean, like people would ask me, "Hey, Kelly, are you bored like doing all these climbs over and over again?" But like no, like yes, the climbing is the same. I mean, like the routes are the same. Even like certain ways I climb the routes like maybe different because I don't remember my beta, my movements.
Right.
Yeah, my body just moves according to like how the route requires me to. But basically, like how I set up the climbs or like the trips for my clients are always different.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on like how the day goes, like how my clients are feeling. So like it's quite funny. I don't have very good memories. That I don't remember things very well, but I usually remember like the trips with my clients pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah, the things that we've done, like and things that went on during the trip. Yeah.
Yeah, actually that happened to me too. Right? I have hard time remember people's faces. I mean, I'm pretty bad remember people's faces. I always say that I might have face blindness syndrome. But then I was like, people call me and then they would say, "Oh, remember we climbed this thing," and then everything kind of flash back.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have that. Similar...
Yes, I do that too. Like I remember like what they climbed and like how they. I mean, I also like. I think it also helps a lot because I take a lot of photos.
Okay.
For my clients, and that like kind of like is how I keep track with like what went on during the trip. Yeah, but that's also like part of like how I want to, how I want my clients to have a piece of like memory of what they have done with me when they are climbing with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you still have to do a lot of, say, administrative work, or you and QS kind of can operate independently?
We are kind of like operating independently, but we're also like doing a lot of things because we have to market our programs. We have to get in touch with our clients and stay in contact with our clients. I'm sure like you know pretty well like how much we have to like communicate with our clients, especially before the trip happens. Yeah. And maintain that relationship, that rapport, because like, you know, like these clients will be our repeat clients if they are happy like climbing with us. And a lot of our clients are actually repeat clients who are coming back to us wanting to do like more stuff or bigger stuff with us, regardless where we are.
I see. And I'm curious, it's kind of funny, even I'm from Taiwan, I didn't really climb London that much. I climbed just only a few handful of days. What exactly is the season? When?
Well, I think my favorite season in London is the fall and early winter.
Yeah, winter is good, right? It's like when it's not quite the rainy, the banshu, whatever that season, right? Because in winter it can get really rainy, right?
Yeah, when it comes to like mid-winter, it can be really rainy. I think I've been pretty lucky with the weather, like at least for last year. Yeah, like usually like towards like Christmas, like New Year, like it's like raining nonstop.
I see.
Yeah, and that was the time when Taiwan opens its borders to international traveling. So I had a bunch of like clients from overseas flying to Taiwan to do like track climbing with me, and was like, oh my god, like, I'm not too sure whether the weather would hold, and it did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that given that Taiwan is usually pretty humid and warm, and then in winter time, if it's not raining, and the friction is actually the best.
It is. It's crisp. It could be
Right.
perfect sand conditions. Yeah, but it's very funny because like a lot of people see like Longdong, that's where we operate, like Dragon Caves, as a summer place.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, it's hot.
a lot of people go there for diving, for snorkeling.
Okay, yeah.
So they see that as a beach place, but there's also rock climbing.
I don't know whether it's that relaxing or beach.
Oh yeah, there's no beach.
It's
all
rocky,
cliffs.
right?
Yeah. So a lot of people are there for like diving, snorkeling, and recently like SUP. Like a lot of people are doing SUP, like stand-up paddling.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and which is great because like summer is hot, but the good thing about like climbing at Longdong is the cracks are all east facing.
Yeah, so in the afternoon you go in the shade.
Yes, like or even like around like noon, like things will start getting into shade. So like we would still run trips, but we would like run our trips later.
Right. But I remember one time I went in August. I didn't know where.
Oh, it's bad. Like, which is why like a lot of times like we would like not be operating like in Taiwan during those months and come back again in the fall.
Then usually say, so sometimes winter is rainy and summer is extremely hot and humid. So, but other area in Southern Asia is probably is also kind of similar, right? Or in winter, probably you can go to Thailand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about in summer?
In summer is usually a time when we come to the US for our training. So like that works great.
Okay.
Yes.
I see. So you're trying to just like, okay, now I have to work and now I can go to the States.
Yeah.
Because right now, right, in London, is that the so-called the plum rain season?
The plum monsoon season.
Yeah, plum monsoon, is that right? So
yes.
Do you, so is that why that you just like, okay, maybe the business is a little bit slow, so you take this chance to come here to take the course, or?
Well, I mean, like, I don't have much of a choice because, like, I can, like, decide the course dates.
Right. And
yeah,
then
actually,
it's obvious it's going to be spring or fall in Red Rock if that happens in Red Rock. Yes.
Yeah, actually now it's, like, the climbing season, like, in Taiwan.
Okay.
So, like, actually missing a lot of work, and a lot of work is actually going to QX. So,
right.
like, yeah.
But May is also good, right?
May is good. So, like, there is, like, this, like, 1 or 2 weeks of rainy season. So, like, it's usually like I will be in Taiwan, but like I would just take that time as a time for me to like catch up with my admin stuff, and get in touch with my clients like for future plans.
I see.
Yeah, rather than doing guiding itself.
I see. And that, as far as I know, that London is more of like a single pitch area, so there's like maybe a few multi-pitch, but it's not really long, like 2 pitches or 3 pitches. So did you get to practice all this multi-pitching skills? And then it's probably not like, it's not gonna short rope, the approach is easy and stuff.
I mean, there are places where we can short rope, but there aren't that many. We just have to be very creative with like how we practice all these skills. So like we don't get to apply these skills like to the extent that how we do it here. But there are definitely like, opportunities where we can like practice the skills on a much smaller scale. Yeah, even transitions too.
And then I do know that in Malaysia they have some bigger stuff, right?
Yes.
So how long is like potentially how long the multi-pitch can be? Like how many pitches?
I heard like Dragon Horn seems like the one in Tioman Island is pretty big.
Okay.
Like almost like big wall style. I'm not too sure how big wall it is.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
But at least like long multi-pitch.
Right. Like that can take like easily like a full day of climbing easily at least. Yeah. Just for the climbing. I think like some people do sleep on the wall too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that like something that you and QS might like look into in guiding, or not necessarily?
I think like right now like probably like At this stage of my climbing and guiding career, I am definitely looking forward to explore more climbing in the region because that's what I used to do, and for my own climbing, but I haven't been exploring as much as I wish to because of work. Yeah, so that is also like part of my plans to explore like all these places in my region. Yeah, and also like maybe like to potentially like, bring people to go climbing in these places too.
I see. And so you start operating in Taiwan, so 2015?
Yes.
Okay. So now it's 2023. So, wow, it has been quite a while.
Yeah.
Like 8 years already.
Yes. And yeah, but like I never really considered myself as living in Taiwan that much until COVID hit us because like
but you work there, right?
Yeah,
But you still travel back to Singapore, that type of thing?
Singapore, but like we also like travel like within the region quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're always like in and out of Taiwan.
I see.
Yeah, until COVID hit. Yeah. But in general, I definitely spend the most number of days in Taiwan than any other countries. Like the US can be in second place. I don't think I spend that much time.
Because the recent years that you came quite often.
Yes. Yeah. Even before like I started doing my rock guide course, like we were also like coming to the US very often because like QX was doing his course and he's like done with it. Like now,
so he's a rock guide now. I know.
Yeah.
So you were kind of like his training buddy.
Yeah, I was like his training buddy. Like when he was like going through the rock guide track.
And now you have to find your own training buddy.
Which is not a bad thing, I feel, because like this is also how I started to, you know, like pay attention to all these like opportunities, like meeting people like you and also other local climbers. And I feel like this is really important. Like
it is, definitely.
Yeah, this is something that I never knew would play a role when I take part in these courses. But I don't know how to explain. It's not just like about your climbing abilities or your guiding abilities. A lot of times that you have to know like local knowledge. Yeah, and all these things like can be gained only the more you stay in this place and knowing people and knowing the place better.
Definitely, it takes time.
It takes time. So like I was just having this conversation with the friends I'm staying with. It's like, hey, I feel really lucky that, you know, like for the assessment, the climbs that I did for my assessment are climbs I've already climbed before. But come to think of it, no, it's not just about luck because I actually like put in the time and effort to climb here extensively. That's why like it just not just luck that all these climbs are just happen to be climbs that I've climbed before, but also because I've climbed quite a bit, like in Vegas to prepare for my course.
Definitely. I mean, as far as I know, a lot of people when they prepare for this course, they spend at least a month ahead of time so they can get familiarized with the area. And even they don't get assigned a climb that they have climbed before, at least they know the area, and which is kind of like a bigger game changer too, because on-site guiding is hard.
Yes,
And especially given the pressure of like being examined, and they have the on-site that route, I think it's quite difficult.
Yeah, and I think like having a routine, like, you know, like I've been staying with friends who I know already from Singapore and they're based in Vegas. So like having a routine on like, hey, okay, like so when you talk about this place, I know where it is. I'm kind of like operating not entirely as a foreigner in the US. I kind of know what you're talking about because I can totally understand when it happens that, hey, like when I go to a new place and when people are talking about certain things, like I am clueless what they are talking about. Yeah. And I think this is something like a catch-up game that I have to do, not being a local, and not being able to be here consistently,
And then during the ARGC, did they pair your partners, like with other women, or they also give you men? I'm curious.
Okay, so like so we have 11 people, right? So like
Right.
it's divided into 6 and 5. So I was
Okay.
in the group of 6. So like there'll be like 3, right? In my 3, it's all 2 men and me.
Oh, okay.
So like the other ladies in our course, they all have like another woman counterpart in their little groups.
Interesting.
Except for me.
Well, I was wondering how they divide that. So you never work with another woman participant?
Not closely in our pod. Like, so we always like work in a group of like 3 of us, right?
Right.
Yeah, so there wasn't like a woman in my pod.
Oh, okay.
Initially, I felt a little bummed about it.
Right.
But like, I think it didn't matter that much. Like, because like my 2 other classmates are really sweet people.
Right.
Yeah, and they are very supportive.
Nice.
Yeah. In fact, like I was quite upset like during my rock guide course. They tried to group like all the ladies together.
Okay.
And even with a female instructor. That was great. But it just happened that like I have this like classmate who was like a little bossy. So like I was thinking like maybe like it may not be all good if like I happen to pair up with another lady. It really depends on individuals.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like, I'm still thinking like I actually went to an all girl high school and it was great. Yeah. But then I would agree with you, it's all about personality. We can work with men
Yes,
too.
yes.
We can work with women.
Yeah.
Too. We can work with all sorts of people. And then certainly when you guy and unless you run a women only clinic, you're not gonna pick and choose only like accept women sign up, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna be welcome to all of them, right? So, and I think it's pretty good to be able to work with different people from different backgrounds.
Yeah, yeah. I think like it would still be nice to have a lady in my pod, but when that didn't happen, like I wasn't like salty about it. Like I was just like, hey, okay, so let's see how things goes, and it turned out great.
Nice. Yeah. Great. So we can give some nice guys some credit.
Yes, like there are like nice like male classmates around
Definitely.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now you kind of have a little lame milestone. What's your next step?
My next step, I definitely like this is also part of my goals for this year. I'm actually turning 40 next year.
Okay, congratulations, happy birthday.
Thanks. So like I actually have like a 2-year plan. So after like the advanced rock guide course, I definitely want to push myself more like mentally and physically for my own climbing. Yeah. Just to strike a little balance between work and my own climbing.
Yeah, that's a very big topic. I'm like also right now really struggling about that, but I think after this season ends, I'm gonna take a break and I'll think about that. And so you want to push your own client? Sorry, I kind of hijacked
Yeah,
you.
no problem. Yeah, I'm definitely like looking forward to like doing my first big wall climb.
Oh, okay. I thought you already did one with QS.
Like
no?
we did a couple, but like I don't consider. I mean, like I'm part of like the team doing all these climbs, but I was.
But you want to be in charge?
Not really in charge, but like I didn't lead like most of these climbs because I was just too afraid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think like it's also me, like when I know like someone who is in charge or like who I feel has like better capabilities than me, I tend to take a step back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you need to pick out the shop and like
Yeah, so like I definitely like would like to like do like a big wall climb like with a small all woman group, like or maybe just with a female counterpart.
Oh, did you already have your partner lined
Yeah,
up?
I actually
Nice.
have thought about like a few friends who I can like turn
Great.
to for this project, and I think like that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you coming back to United States to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like maybe the Valley.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can also do it in Zion too. It's pretty nice.
Oh, I heard about it.
It's pretty nice. But I totally understand. You're just like, yeah, because my husband used to be my mentor, and then I just feel like he's a little bit overly protective. So I have to tell him, say, no. Because if I'm like not in front, then I can't learn.
Yeah, I think like you have that awareness. I think I have that awareness, but I am still like too timid, or like I just don't have, maybe I'm just like not confident. I don't have that confidence in myself.
Or maybe at that time you settle in this supporting training buddy
I
kind
think
of role.
so. I think so, but I feel like it's I mean, like, I'm a human after all, so like doing all this like while supporting someone achieving things, maybe I felt left out too. Yeah,
Okay.
like what I told you. Yes, we did all these things, but like, you know, like I'm helping someone to achieve like certain goals, but I don't feel very involved in it, and I don't feel a strong sense of
Like, should I put this on my resume? That type of thing.
I usually don't put this in my resume, although I've done some of these clients, but I don't feel like I have that much of sense of ownership, because like I wasn't doing it that much.
I think I can understand that. You want to feel like you have done it.
Yes. I feel like I'm just like cheating myself, like lying to myself. I said that yes, I've done it.
Yeah,
like,
and then it's kind of for you, yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can lie to everyone, but I cannot lie to myself.
I mean, at the end, like, nobody care about what you have done or how hard you climb or all that. It's really just, right? Like, I want to climb, but it's not because somebody will pay attention to me.
Yeah, and I know like I will have like more challenges, like it'll be very difficult, like, but it's part of the process, and I want to like go through that process.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you will do well, and maybe you have mini epics or whatever. But you know,
I'll call you for help. What should I do?
I'll try my best. I think I already throw my big wall days behind me. I teach big wall classes, but I hate hauling. So it's like I want to go, if possible, go as fast as possible so I don't have to haul. Yeah, it was nice though that I have done it. Yeah, and I feel proud of it. But so as far as I can see you, I mean, you totally have the capacity. Nowadays, I mean, I would say one disadvantage that you might have is you're small.
Oh yes, I kind of have a taste of that. Like some of these boat ladders, like from boat to boat, is so far away.
No, I mean hauling.
Oh, hauling?
Yes.
Okay, I can imagine that.
Yeah, it's just like, well, the boat ladder maybe far reaches, but at least you still can cheat. But hauling is hard work. It's like something that's turned me off. Yeah. But it's just but you will see though, maybe you can set up some like mechanical advantage system, to do that. And usually the whole bag is the heaviest the first day. So if you can do the first day, you can do the rest of the days. Great. And how about other things, like, so you still staying for another weekend before you head back?
Yes.
Any more climbing, or just kind of chill?
I'm hoping to climb, but like I don't know whether like I can find like people like this last minute, because I wasn't like making very concrete plans. I was like busy with the course, and I thought like, hey, I would just like start thinking about my plans after the course, and that isn't enough. That much time actually.
I see.
Yeah, so I think I would still want to like head to the valley, even to be there, to have a hike. Like I haven't been there like since before COVID, and I would really love to be there.
Yeah, I know some of my friends already heading that way. You know, so it could potentially, the AMG has a mentorship group, and I mean, just go there and see whether you can find somebody who's already there, and maybe some people would be your partner.
Surprise me. Yeah.
And anything that you want to say for to people who just like want to be a guide? Any like learned advice that you wish you have known before?
I think that regardless what the situation is for you, you just have to be honest to yourself. You really have to like sit down and talk to yourself and ask yourself whether this is something that you really want to do. And if you make that decision to do it, regardless the circumstances, just go for it.
Great.
Yeah. Because I feel that a lot of people like hold themselves back because of certain situations or a lot of self-doubts. I still have that too. Yeah, but just give it a try and you'll be surprised like what turns out for you.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much for coming to my place. I know it's late. To have this nice conversation with me. So I think I'm gonna be in Vegas for, I don't know, still quite a few years. Mm-hmm. So when you come back to Vegas, just give me a call and I'll be here.
Yes, of course. Like, thank you for inviting me to this podcast, and I'm really pleased to be here before I go.
Thank you.